Well, if anybody else who is not participating in the live session but is watching the playback, there's an event this weekend that I think you should check out. And I think I brought it up on Monday, but I'm going to bring it up again. All right, did I bring this up to you guys? Yeah? Monsterpalooza? Anyways, it's just a really cool event that has like all the master makeup artists and all that stuff. We go to artists. Here you can see a list of some of the guys that are going to be there. I mean, we got Casey Love, Steve Wang, Jordy Shell. I mean, you got Don Lanning's going to be there, Tim Gore, Nick Mara. A lot of great sculptors are going to be there. So if you guys can ever, and this happens every year, there's this one and then Santa Monsterpalooza, which happens in the fall. If you guys are ever out this way, you should definitely check this out. It's a fantastic convention. But that is neither here nor there with the projects that we have at hand. So today is very much going to be a sculpting day. I am going to go through and flush everything out. So going component by component and really getting to a more finalized sculpt. I'm going to go ahead and Z-remesh this guy. And then the way that we're going to handle the modeling of it. If we go through and do straight planar retopology, as you experienced with the second creature that we were working on, how fast was that? How was that experience going through and doing planar retopology? Even with the Quadra, how was it? Let's be honest. Was it a pleasant experience? Yeah, I mean, it's good in the amount of control that you have, right? We're using Quadra, and you have control over the topological flow completely. But I think it's also a little cumbersome. You know, I think that, especially with 4R7, the Z-Modeler, or not Z-Modeler, sorry, Z-Remesher has been improved greatly. And I think that we can find a happy medium between the control that we get in Maya and using Z-Remesher to start, then going into Maya and modifying the geometry so that we get exactly what we want, but we get it quickly, right? So I'm going to go ahead and mix those two together for this guy, but today we are going to be sculpting. So what I would like you guys to have done by Monday is I would like to have you guys at about, I don't know, like 75% of the way there as far as sculpting goes, if not more, like 80 to 90% of the way there. And then next week, I'll go through the hybrid retopology. We'll use a little bit of X normals and a little bit of ZBrush to bake out our maps. But I still owe you guys a marmoset video and a texturing video, so I will get that to you too. So that'll be my homework for the weekend. I gotta finish those out. All right. So going in and sculpting, I have my hard surface objects. I have all these shells that I have to go through and sculpt out. So if you guys want to, actually, no, I might do this. Just give me 1 second. Can you guys hear that? All right, so I'm going to go through and I'm going to start working on the head first, which is usually against where I go through, because I usually try and save the head for last, but I don't know. I'm feeling like a contrarian today. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to flush out this head once and for all and figure out what's going on here. Because at this point, all we really have is a good rough out, right? Even with where, as far as we've taken this, it's still just in the rough out stage. So you want to bring it closer to completion. Let's turn on transparency. And I wanted eyes to come out through here. So let's just get that penetrating through first. Let's do a little inflate, remesh. And the thing is, while we're doing this, I mean, these are really complex creatures that we're tackling, complex characters, and you have to get through. You have to expedite the sculpting involved, because there's going to be so much technical points that we have to hit throughout the rest of the way. All right. So what I have here right now, before I even add subdivisions to this, I'm going to go ahead and Z-remesh it. And I'm going to make a decision right now. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and make the decision to unify these two separate pieces that I have. I want to make sure that they are not anywhere near touching back here, anywhere close near the rest of the surfaces. So let me hit transparency. And I'm just going to smooth down. And actually, I only really need the head piece. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're cool. Let's delete that. Let's delete hidden. Over here. Merge down, and we'll remesh. All right, cool. Now let's go ahead and Z-remesh. Just so I don't lose anything, I'm going to subdivide up once. Let's freeze subdivision level. And I'm going to Dynamesh first. Actually, you know what? It's going to take a while, but I'm going to go ahead and Z-remesh. While we're waiting for Z-remesher, I really want to hear if you guys are having any sort of issues or need any questions answered. Because this Z-remesh is going to take a while. It's at 483,000. But I want to Z-remesh at 483,000 because I don't want to lose anything. I don't want anything webbed together. I can always reduce it down after the initial Z-remesh and then start to shape it. But I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose anything that's existing in Silhouette right now. and then I'll add in those shrimp legs later on, which I also still need to flesh out. Other than smoothing out forms, I did wonder what you think the best approach for adding armor to a model was, and I was also wondering your best recommended method for adding teeth. Teeth, using an insert mesh brush, you want those teeth to be the same part of the mesh as the body, right? So you don't want that to be a separate piece. The armor, you can create the armor initially as a separate piece and then build a bridge in between the main part of the model and the armor, like behind the armor. Just make a bridge, like a couple polys to bridge between those two to join them. If it's something that's sitting around the waist, let's see how my result came out here. If it's something that's sitting around the waist, you probably want to keep it separate, right? So you want a separate piece coming over it, and you just model it out like any other hard surface object. All right, so I got a little bit of fusion here with Dynamesh, so I'm going to step back and let's delete that. I want to watch out for things like that. Let's invert that. Delete hidden. Close holes. There we go. Just smooth that down a little bit. This I'm not so worried about. Oh, you know what? I want to make a clean junction there. So let me just shave that down. That way this can move a little bit more freely. Get a little separation there. So I'm looking for anything that I want to sort of move independently, or things that aren't supposed to be welded together. I want to make sure that they aren't joined in Dynamesh. Let's try that again. And this time, I'm going to go ahead and play with a little mesh density. So I want to draw more polys down into this area where I'm going to have a lot of detail. Let's also pull some down here into the belly. These are all areas that are going to be very, very visible. I want to be able to sculpt a lot of detail in here. Egg sac. You know what? I probably should fill this in a little bit more. So I'll just do that now. Soften this up, invert that mask, and I'm trying to think of anywhere else where I want a lot of mesh density, and I think I'm going to want it in the feet too, so let me unmask that. That again. Use polypaint color fill object. And I'll turn off the ships right now. We'll tack at those separately. And I'll demo one area in here. I'll demo an area in here, sculpting it sort of the level where you need it to be, and then I'll move on to the ships, and we'll go over some hard surface stuff and start working on the accessories.